The clock is all ready to pour. On this aluminum, I guess it's aluminum form, I use about 3 or 4 coats of the paste wax, Minwax Paste Wax. The waxier you get it, the better this is going to release. It won't stick if you have the wax. If you try just pouring it in the metal, there's a good chance it's going to stick. So the more wax you can get on here, the better. I'll do 3 or 4 coats. I do the whole form. That way if you spill epoxy or whatever, it'll come right off. And then I'll go ahead and I'll wax the serving tray form. And this is going to allow it to release real easy from this form. So you can use metal forms. You can use the HDPE plastic is the easiest to release, but I'm going to show you you can use this aluminum form and it will come out fine. So that's a little about what I do. I put a big heavy bucket of screws on it, and that'll hold the wood in there. What I do with the wood to get the dust off is I take denatured alcohol in a rag. I just wipe this down, dries quickly, gets any dust off. Dust and epoxy don't mix good, doesn't give you a good bond. So I always just wipe it down with the denatured alcohol, get as much dust off as we can, and then go ahead and put it in the form and it's ready to pour. Then you clamp it down, or if you have a weight, put a weight on it. I'm only going to be pouring about 3/8 of an inch. It's a bottom layer of black, just so the bullet casings will be up off the bottom when I sand or plane it or router it. Here's the serving tray. I have it clamped in. We got our 2 pieces of wood. Got our river going through the middle. And we're going to do the same thing as the clock. I'm going to pour about 3/8 of an inch just to give it a bottom. So let's go ahead and get some mixed up. Get started. Incredible Solutions Epoxy, casting epoxy. It's 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to mix up 4 ounces of the hardener. I always pour the hardener in first. And then I'm going to mix up 8 ounces of the resin. So that we'll start out with that. We'll see where it takes us. So I'm going to go ahead and pour 4 ounces of hardener. Now you always want to check your hardener, especially if you have clear coat, top coat. Make sure you're using the right hardener. Now I'm going to pour 8 ounces. So I'm going to go up to 12 ounces. And that will be a 2-to-1 ratio. So I'll put that to the side. I like to use these measuring sticks for stirring, or you can use a drill and paddle. In this case, we're going to do a measuring stick. We're not mixing that much. I don't feel like cleaning up the paddle tonight. So we're just going to go ahead and mix this for about 2 minutes. So I won't bore you with that. I'm going to shut the camera off until I go ahead and add the color. Once I have this mixed, and we're going to definitely need to make a bigger batch for our second one. But what I use is the measuring sticks. They work good for adding color. Just take your color. You don't need a lot of color. Metallic black. So that's going to be for our bottom. And then you just stir that in. It's mixed real well. You don't have clumps of powder in your epoxy. That's going to create a void. This really mixed in real nice. The epoxy is nice and warm. It's pretty warm in here. It's about 80 degrees, so it mixes real nice. It's not real thick. So once we have that, we'll go ahead and we're going to pour. Let's start out with the clock. I'm I'm going to go ahead and start pouring. I don't want to make the wood black. I just want to pour away from the wood. Some of it's going to run underneath. And what I do is just tip it up. I try to dump out of the same side all the time. That way your hands aren't all epoxy. I got my rubber latex nitrile gloves on. And that'll keep my hands from getting all sticky. But we're definitely going to need quite a bit more. So the next batch, I'm going to go ahead and mix up more. And how you can tell if it's 3/8 is use your measuring stick. These ones I cut from a tape measure. They're cut in 1 foot pieces. And you can just put it in there. And we are roughly 3/8 of an inch. So, but some of it's going to run underneath, so we're definitely going to need a little more. So I'm going to go ahead and mix some more up. I have another mix ready. I'm going to go ahead and put some more in. On about 3/8 of an inch. Try not to get it on the wood, because this is the bottom. So, all right, that's the clock. I'm going to go over to the serving tray, put some in there. Now, here we go, serving tray. Same thing. I want to make sure I'm dumping it in the middle. Probably going to have to make one more mix. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get another mix ready. And then that should do it for the initial bottom pour. Let that dry. And then I'll put bullet casings in on top of the black. And then we're going to pour clear.